We're turned on.
We're turned on, okay. George, introduce our,
Today we have Sergeant John Newton with Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office.
welcome. Okay, there's no other, and we have from, Platinum, Mr. Jim, what the hell? I'll think of that.
Mr. Jim's good.
Mr. Jim Good. That movie star, what's that his name?
Right, Harvey.
Yeah, Cartel.
Yes. Depending on the audience, I just say I'm related, sure.
Yeah, okay. All right, take a second, look at the meetings from last month's meeting, it's gonna be just about the same as this month's meeting, I think. We'll get PBSO report. He gets it whenever he's ready.
I'm the answer. Report through October, we had 277 calls for service, and of those 41 case numbers were generated for various incidents. The vast majority of those calls though were 911 hangups and or welfare checks, which is that's standard fare for a lot of the calls we get. Some cases of interest. Well, I'll move on to traffic and then go to cases of interest. Traffic, quite a few vehicle stops. There were 33 traffic stops, resulting in 31 citations, 17 written warnings and 1 verbal warning, and 2 accidents reported during that time frame. And some cases of interest, just to be aware of, there was a vehicle burglary over off of Bedford E. The vehicle was rummaged through, but nothing was taken. And as of right now, there's really not any leads on that particular case. There was a report of a theft in which a grill was taken, but we found the grill. It was in a common area where it was not supposed to be left, and I believe some of the people that work there or are part of that particular building secured it in a better location.
Okay.
So that wasn't in fact that. We did have a few bikes stolen that are left unsecured or even secured, they're cutting the lock. We have a suspect in that. It's a female that is known to jump the fence and visit, or at times walk around to try to come in. We are trying to locate her. She lives outside of this area. But we have an arrest warrant for her in regards to the bike theft and burglary. It's rumored that there are some male friends that she's visiting that invite her over as a guest. Don't know the validity of that, but that's what people we've spoken to said. I will say, and I don't know who it was, one of the guys that worked the gates was an amazing good witness, because when he saw the video, immediately identified her, knew exactly who we were dealing with, was able to put us onto it right away. So worked out good. And we're still having a lot of fraud cases. And I'm at a loss for how to prevent that. I'm not seeing a lot of the same victims. So once somebody's been defrauded, they're on heightened alert and they're really aware. But it doesn't account for all the other people that are having these things pop up, and it's either via the phone or via the computer. They're being convinced to go out and buy gift cards and move money in their bank accounts. And giving people personal information.
It's a hard thing to explain, and my only take on it, I just think the people that are being victimized are lonely, they don't have anybody to talk to. Then they talk to them, they talk back, and they tell them whatever they need to know, and first thing you know, they're broke and nobody to talk to.
They're preying upon a lot of people's fears.
Yeah.
As much as we can educate them. I mean, there's times I get texts on my phone.
Yeah.
Where something's wrong and I'm calling my wife in a fit. How, what's going on? This is happening, and come to find out when we go further, it's nonsense.
Right.
But I can understand people are getting texts or computer messages that say your account's been compromised, somebody's defrauded you, let us help you, and it looks legitimate.
Yeah.
It really does. And then they start clicking on links or giving out information to try to get help. And it's too late by then. They're already moving money and it's gone. So, but that is the you know, a lot of what's going on.
Yeah, but the card thing, I don't understand that. Why would people go out to buy cards? That's not a common thing.
That,
I mean, people, you know.
that I am confused with, and I, you know, if we can educate them, don't go buy a Walmart gift card or a Visa gift card and then give some stranger the number. Or go to a Bitcoin machine and
Right.
deposit $10,000 into a Bitcoin machine. Cause that's encrypted, and once that happens, it's overseas and
It's
gone.
gone.
You'll never see it again.
I have
Yes,
a
ma'am.
question.
Mhm.
Does the sheriff's department have any public service type videos that we could post on the TV station and possibly run them during the course of the day?
That's a good question, and we do have a lot. I don't know if they have one in particular in regards to the fraud and giving out personal information. I would like to say they do, but if not, that's a really good idea. If that's available, I'll get with our PIO and see if they can, if it's already available, I'll get it to you, or if we can create one
That'd be
that
great.
touches on these points, because education's probably gonna prevent maybe 75 to 80% of them when people realize it. The other ones, you know, we all have different degrees of naivety and
And if there's someone at, your, you know, the PSA office, whoever does it, you know, for the sheriff's department. If they want to work with us, to do some production or something that we could share.
absolutely. No, that's a very good idea. I mean, I think education is one of the ways we can work towards it. Anyway,
Yeah,
Yes,
what do you
ma'am.
call, I'm going to a seminar next week regarding fraud, but this is in Miami-Dade, and you know, Miami-Dade has a lot of fraud out there. And a good friend of ours, Catherine Rundle, she's gonna be the speaker of fraud. So if I can ask her if she has anything, I can ask if she can share it with you all, you know,
Absolutely.
regarding that,
Yeah, that'd be great.
yeah.
She puts a lot of.
Yeah, she does, yeah,
And it's helpful. Everybody's going to a good channel.
yeah.
I received two calls. First, I received a call, they say they were from the firefighter. It didn't show on my cell phone who was calling, it was a number, it wasn't from Florida. And the firefighters, they were asking for donations for children, whatever. And then I was listening to her, whatever he was saying, and then I didn't say, oh, that's nice. I work for the studies of it, but I don't think the firefighters, they are doing that here. And then only say, oh, okay, he said, he went back. And then later I received a call from police department. I don't know which police department, another number that didn't say where it was coming from. And I told them, he said also donation, he was asking for donation. He did a story, a very sad story at the beginning, you know, to get to our feelings. But then I said, no, this is a fraud, and I told him, no, I work in the police, so we are really sure about that, they're asking, you know, they're calling people.
The sheriff's never gonna solicit donations via the phone and calling up with sob stories, and nor is the fire department. It's all fraud.
Right.
It's all fraud. So, yeah, but some people are gonna fall for that. Some people will bite on that or wanna be helpful or whatever, you know. So,
Yeah.
Do you have anything else?
negative, sir.
Okay. Move on to Platinum's report. We'll get Daniel first.
Alrighty, Rovers responded to 181 calls. The gatehouses confiscated 10 expired passes, 1 resident pass due to guests attempting to use for entry. And everything else is detailed in the report, along with a few pictures on the back. We've been noticing and getting called to certain buildings that have a perimeter fence or a nearby fence that are being taken down or damaged from fence jumpers. You may want to have your property management companies go out and take a look if you have a perimeter fence or nearby fence. All we're able to do is bring it back up, put some zip ties on it and call it a day. But you really want a professional to address those issues and damaged fences and properties on your buildings.
Question for you. If somebody's coming in and do they give you, if they're a visitor, do they tell you, I'm going to Coventry, see this building?
Yes.
Or who they're a guest of?
If they stop and check in at the booth, they'll give us an address, we'll check if they're called in or on the list, and if they're not, then we'll call the resident for
Okay.
authorization.
Can you do me a favor, because I'm hearing more of it, that there's ladies that are making frequent visits and hopping all over, making a living,
Yes,
visiting.
yes.
If you notice, I mean, I get it, I'm not looking into people's personal business, but if you notice there's the same person and they're popping buildings and you get the feel that this may be somebody who's soliciting favors in the neighborhood, can you just make note of that? Maybe I can get some of that to take a peek at later on,
Yes,
because they're bringing other problems in as well if they're doing that.
yes,
you know?
absolutely.
Sure.
We do have a database of undesirables that we keep track on. So we do have a list of some of those,
Perfect,
yes, professional workers.
thank you.
Take my picture of these.
No.
Okay, maybe store it outside. Maybe store it outside.
Laughing is good.
Is that all you got there?
Yes, that is everything we have. Everything else is in the report. We did submit an article, so it'll be in the newspaper December edition. Some tips when you travel, such as don't post absences or vacations on social media, because a lot of people like to use social media to figure out when you're home, when you're not home, what valuables you have inside. We've done some recommendations on buildings, on clearing up their debris, their bushes. You wanna have a clear sight of line from the parking lot or from common areas. Lighting is always good also in the parking lots and the catwalks along the stairwells, because individuals like to blend in behind bushes, debris, unlighted places. So you'll read it all in the article.
Okay.
Got a question.
Yeah, we'll move along with WCR.
You got a question on your left?
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
that's okay. I got a question. Do you do anything regarding construction workers that would come off like Saturday or Sundays? Any way of them, when I say enter on a Saturday or Sunday? Or late at night?
What's the rules on the construction work on Saturday and Sunday? Is there any? Mostly they don't start till 7 o'clock and they
8
usually
o'clock.
knock off around 5. Was that something?
Cause usually they don't want them there before 8 o'clock.
Okay,
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, and some of them just stay sometimes.
but
till late.
somebody has to call them in. They don't just come in on their own.
Yeah, or are they on a list or some sort? Because apparently a lot of these contractors come in, a lot of these contractors with regulars, we call them in.
There
That's
is a
quite a
list
few.
someplace of regulars.
Yeah, it really should, because I mean, when you start having so many contractors coming in, then you say, oh, they're all contractors for this or for that. And then you don't really know which contractors are really actually going to be going to that place, they're actually gonna go somewhere else. And and work, or they are what they are, I know that every time we would have contractors, we would definitely make sure that if they were gonna be contracted working somewhere, that we would have a list on, okay, what building are you gonna work at?
Okay, so you have a contractor come in and does work for you. When they leave,
Mhm.
can you guarantee that they're gonna go out the gate, or they might go somewhere else and do something?
Well,
I mean, this is one of the problems.
Right, exactly.
You know,
But this, see, that if they have a list of all the contractors that are coming in to do work at a building.
right,
And they're gonna be, and you say, to what time, and you look at that. And I mean, you still see them around, or somebody still sees them in the association still there, why are they still there?
Measure hours,
Yeah.
coming and leaving.
Right, yeah, because and another thing too is that they leave, when they leave late, that's when they start dumping.
Yeah, right.
And they leave late because so people won't see what they're dumping. And then what happens is associations end up paying for this. Yeah. Alright, that's it, sorry.
any comments on her
Sure,
queries?
I'll be more than happy to put my 5 cents in.
Yeah.
Number one, any contract that it works in your building, your building should be asking for their license, for their insurance, and you should be notified that work is being done on your building. Now, the chances of that happening are slim to none,
Right.
okay? But you do have the right to ask, go knock on the apartment door, say, listen, we wanna see you, that you're licensed and insured. You
Right,
can make the unit owner unhappy,
yeah,
okay?
I have,
But it's really up to the owner to notify the building to do their homework. It's not really a security issue,
right, okay,
other than make sure that they're called in if they're doing a job.
right,
Right, but what
Okay.
happens if they don't, if the person's not there? And anybody on the board's not there, and they say, well, I don't have to talk to you about this. You just take-
PBSO. And your lawyer's next.
Okay.
No work is supposed to be done in the apartment without somebody
Owner
being
there, right.
notified that the work is being done there.
And if they don't have a permit and they're working on something,
They shouldn't be working there.
Call the planning and
but
zoning
it's been happening.
Of course it has.
Cookie, call the planning and zoning board, they come, they stop, don't have to do that.
Oh, yeah.
They said, they call your board, your association board. Well, they're in New York,
Well,
you know,
we're gonna be making some changes because I believe that Palm Beach County has now realized that permits were being given without board approval, without
Right.
anybody knowing about it.
exactly.
And that they were removing a common element of the building.
Yeah.
right,
There is a gentleman that's overseeing the building department. And if a building permit was issued and it didn't follow the proper procedure, he wants to know.
yeah, his name is John Blake.
Jim, right?
Yes,
I already have them.
yes. And we will be pushing that issue in the near future.
Good.
Because it happened to us, that's why I said, we have stopped the thing, well. I. Sort of made it stop. Because it was not approved by the board at all. And things happened, foundations were broken. People adjacent to the building got cracks on their walls, cracks on their ceiling, cracked on their floors. I just. Had to say something.
No problem.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for the 4.5 minutes.
Lawrence, if you're ready.
Yes, sir, thank you. Things are starting to pick back up for us, obviously, as people are coming down. We were also able to confiscate 13 IDs. What I really want to touch on is, 2 of them were copies. And when people try to just keep them in, we were able to get them. So the only acceptable means to enter any of the recreation facilities, be it Hastings, the main clubhouse, or any of the pools, is with a hard copy of your Century Village ID. You can't have a picture of your ID, you can't have a copy of your ID, you can't be on your phone, like it literally has to be a hard copy of your ID. And our officers will be checking and will be removing if you're not doing what you should. But other than that, like you said, most everything is in the report and things are starting to pick back up as people come. So we're
So there's
Trying
no
to be on
purpose
top
for
of it.
troublemaking.
yes.
Thank you. I got a question. What repercussions are there when you catch somebody with somebody else's ID? What happens is that you confiscate the ID, then what happens?
It goes over to the clubhouse and they must speak with Eva in order to have the resident pass returned to them.
At which point she can either suspend them for 30 days or follow whatever action. Like we just had a gentleman who was suspended that we basically get memos from Eva with a picture of the ID, the person who's suspended, the
Okay.
date the suspension starts.
What happens is the person that's trying to use
Oh, the ID is confiscated and they're removed. They're not allowed to.
they're not allowed in, but okay.
They have to go through the regular guest lane, the whole authorization
But
process.
And
But
then-
is there lists made when that person comes through again? You know who they are?
Yes.
Okay.
And then like what we do is the gates, like he said, bring the IDs to us. We photocopy every ID we receive from the gate, so we have a running picture and count and name of the people who have done so. So that we can kind of try to be on top of it. See the people who people like.
Because usually if you don't have some kind of punishment, they'll do it over and over, you know. You don't slap them on the hand or something, you know, you gotta do something. I'm just curious
Make it
as to
harsh.
what happens, because you have several, not several, but a few a few each month where people try to get in.
Yes.
And I'm just saying if repeat offenders, if there was something that can be done to prevent the repeat offender.
Just let me add this, the only people at the clubhouses who are not new passes are people who are under the age of 16 with someone with the correct pass.
Yeah.
Everyone else, if you're over 16, is required to get the guest pass or have your Century Village pass. That is the only way you will be allowed.
Okay.
John.
John.
Sure. On the line, talking with Lawrence, I wanna say, I saw him in action, those of you that were at the delegates meeting. We had a problem, he came in, he took care of it, he acted like a gentleman, if it had been me, I'd have grabbed that someone could fight his. But he acted professionally in a
Right.
professional manner. And I think his employer, James, he should know about that. All right?
Thank you very much, George, I appreciate it.
We appreciate
I was
it.
gonna say-
I was ready to get up, but I figured, don't. You
No,
had
'cause you're going
everything.
to
No,
Doesn't pay.
Thank you, that's what we're here for, and Jim and Daniel and John talking, they try to make sure that we're as well as we can be, you know what I mean? And it's a team effort, so I appreciate all of you all, but thank you
You
very
guys
much.
are doing a great job.
but
Excuse me, this is, I think we talked outside on this thing.
What?
The contract and the license and what we're allowed to do, we should not be involved in these things. First of all, it's not in the contract. Second, our license doesn't allow you. Because I told you outside before, I had an incident 15 years ago when I thought it stopped. Because they tried to do this thing for me and they just wouldn't even come close. They cannot come, and it was almost a touch today, almost a touch today
He
too.
actually hugged me, but it's okay.
No, this is not.
And I can
don't get
I can
involved.
ask him to leave, sir, I can trespass him, I can ask him to leave, but I can't physically touch him or remove him, you are correct.
But you cannot even do anything.
yes, you can.
I can.
Yes, you can. As chairman, I asked security to come in and remove someone that was interrupting my meeting. And when he gave him a hard time, what did I tell him?
Go get-
We have
go get-
PBSO in the lobby,
Oh, yeah,
go get PBSO.
that's the
That
right
was
way.
what-
that people-
And that's exactly what he did. So he did not touch him, okay? There was no physical contact. The guy did put his arms around him, that's okay. Okay, but he did not touch him, but he didn't do it on his own. He did under me, my
Direction, yeah.
direction as chairman of, and the man was interrupting a meeting of UCA.
He was he acted 110%.
Exactly.
What you should have done in the way you
Exactly.
handled it in a professional manner.
I was gonna bring it up, but
Thank you.
I'm glad that you did.
That person followed him out of the building on his own.
You got David.
Yeah, David, you got something over there?
Yeah, I just looking at the additional comments, and is there an explanation why we have so many people at the Somerset pool without an ID or something?
But Somerset Pool is one of our bigger pools, we also have the tennis courts over there, and as I said, people are coming home, and so that there's a lot of, that's one of the busier pools. So like our smaller pools, for example, like a Dorchester or a Southampton, won't have as much traffic or as many people. Excuse me, Somerset and Camden are some of our busier pools, and then Kent is kind of in the middle. But it'll always be Camden and Somerset that'll have the bigger numbers because it's just simply more people who use them.
Sounds good, thank you very much.
You're welcome, Dave. Nothing else, thank you all.
John
I'm
behind.
sorry.
Remind you,
Yeah. Private pools you don't go into, right?
No, ma'am, we only do the five,
No.
we do Southampton, Camden, Somerset,
Right,
Dorchester, and Kent.
okay, I've got a private pool and I've got a PBSO sign up that they put up. Now I have to call them
Yes, ma'am.
and only for asking for ID, and if they don't have it, they can take them out.
That would be the PBS, so
Yeah.
we don't deal with those
Yeah.
schools at all.
Okay. Hope they do it. They did it once, they had two guys come in, and they had to go 5 guys out. And they did come in, and the one guy gave him a little bit of hassle, and he said, come with me, you're getting in the car.
The one thing I would suggest for anybody, if you have any issues, contact PBSO. Their
Yeah.
authority is going to far exceed.
I did, they had 2 squad cars there like in 5 minutes.
They're a great organization. I would definitely suggest that if you have any concerns, any issues, like, we said, I believe it was see something, say something that we talked about.
Yeah.
So I would definitely not hesitate to call PBSO if you have any questions, because they'll be able to help you with the legality of it as well and tell you what can be done, what can't be done.
Okay, also the fencing behind 26 building and 27 building Gulf's Edge, that fencing. All the homeless people are jumping the fences and coming in and taking packages off people's other condos. I call you for that?
So we're the recreation security. Daniel's at the gates where they deal with most of the roads and the things in the community.
So Danny would come? Or
Yeah,
Daniel would come,
Daniel would come, yes, sir.
So that's what I was touching upon earlier. If you look on the back of the page, one of the pictures there is actually the fence behind Gulf's Edge that you're speaking of. So all we do is try to re-secure it with zip tie, but you really want to get a professional out there to
So you
either properly rebuild the fence or properly repair that fence.
I'm gonna have Dustin do it because it's not his, our fencing, it's the golf course
Yes, you
now.
want to get with your property management company and have them give you the guidance on that fence behind your building. Because all we're able to do is really Band-Aid fixes with zip ties,
Right,
but that's not gonna keep them out.
Right.
Unfortunately, there are homeless camps on the golf course.
oh, yeah.
PBSO has been great about clearing them out. They're always clearing out that golf course,
And he'll-
but it's like whack-a-mole. That golf course is huge and they'll just.
Yeah.
You shut down one homeless camp, another one will pop up.
Right. I know they had a lot of, it was about 2 o'clock in the morning, was, I thought it was building 16 that was having a party or something, but it came from the golf course. And they had the music loud and people were talking loud. And I should have called them, but it's like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
Definitely, you wanna call when it's.
Whenever you got a problem, call PBSO.
If you hear that, call and it'll get addressed right away, and I'm gonna put in a request with the CP units. Have them go by there and sweep that golf area and
Yeah.
make sure nobody set up camp, but like you said, they're transient.
Right,
You
Right.
you remove those camps and move people on and
it was
yeah,
loud.
a new group will come in. But yeah, if you hear anything like that, call us and let us know, and I can have the Eagle fly over at night.
Yep.
And they'll look for heat sources, anybody that's set up camp out there, they'll be in the spot without having to wander.
2 days ago, you had the police going over the golf course, who were looking for somebody in there,
Yeah,
because I was in my pool.
but yeah, I'll make sure the CP guys get through there.
Mainly by 16 building, 26,
Let's say Gulf's Edge.
yes, you can start with 8 building, 9 building. 16,
And it's the fence back behind there that's broken down,
Down,
that they're
yeah,
they're
yeah.
crossing, it. Right.
8, 26 and 27.
Alright, thank you.
It used to be over at Greenway, on the side of the building,
Right.
and I yelled through the fence, I'll be right over to join you.
Steer them off.
They
Yeah, ran away.
Okay, when you do that.
Okay, we're supposed to have COP report. Al isn't here. Louis, you got anything you might want to report on that?
You know what happened? I was informed that Captain Flon is no longer a captain. The new captain is Bernadette, I don't remember her last name, she's a new volunteer, COP volunteer. She just got like maybe like a month ago,
Okay,
now she is the captain.
I'll check in with Al and see what's
Yeah.
going on. Any old business?
Well, I had a question here on this.
Well, okay, we'll back up.
Yeah,
Wait till you get to.
What do you got, Dan?
okay. The trial that we just had for $7 million, that you were liable for $6 million.
We can't talk.
Can't talk about it,
That's not-
can't discuss it.
No, it's
No,
all-
no, I just want to know, it's, okay,
That's not discussable.
it was a security matter.
It's
okay.
not a.
It's not
Okay.
new business. Got anything?
Can't see.
Yeah, Elizabeth.
My name is Beth Husky. I live over in Suffolk Beach, and I'm one of those part-time people that are a pain in the neck. But before I go any further, I'm active in my board and I'm active in my community. I'm here for 6 months and I'm 6 months back north and I'm active in my community there. Security is in my background, that's why I come to these meetings. So with that being said, I've seen a couple of things. Sometimes when you're gone and you come back in, you have fresh eyes. So the other day I was at a walk and I went by Northampton and there was a recreational vehicle, like a fifth wheel that someone had pulled in. The association did absolutely everything by the numbers. They had a sign posted on it saying they had to leave, they had 24-hour notice, they were on spot. My question is, we need to circle back to the root problem, and I'm wondering how that piece of equipment came into the village. So that's a concern. I was on my walk the other day and no fewer than 58 cars were backed into their parking spots. So I spoke with the WPRF person that works for the Hastings and these recreational areas. And I asked if it was a Century Village rule or if it was a state or county rule. And I was told that it's a Century Village rule, and I understand the rationale for it. And this security person said that they would only enforce the back ends if they were in the common areas like Hastings, the clubhouse, whatnot. But the other back end issues I see throughout all the associations. So in my mind, that's a broken window issue. If one does it, then the other does it. Now, one day I saw 48 cars. So I think that's something that is new. It's unusual.
It's not up to these people to correct it, it's up to the building.
I understand that.
You
My
does that, that's because I live there, but that's before. Seriously, they don't, we tell them, the reason being, when you come from New York, and I'm from New York, you have license plates front to back. In Florida, it's in back.
Right.
So they want those cars pulled in nose first.
Right. I don't have a problem with the rule, I just have a problem with the enforcement. So with all these units that are here, if we have 5 cars, 20 cars, 100 cars, hundreds of cars, and they all start backing in, then why do we bother having the rule?
Sure.
Okay, two-part answer. Number one, state of Florida does not require you to back your car in or put it in. Okay, that's a misnomer. You're on private,
We're on private, right,
your parking lot is private property. All right, if the building wants to make a ruling that you've got to back it in or put it in, that's fine. But there is no fine for this, there's no what do you call it?
Understand.
That's right.
No violation on it.
I mean, everybody comes into these meetings and says, oh, well, the state says, and the state does not say.
You can say it.
All right?
that is what I said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
So,
but again,
It's a
it
good-
also
it's a
might
good
be in your
response.
bylaws too. Cause in our bylaws, we have it, you have to park in.
so then
Nose
you
first.
That's right.
you do it, go by the bylaws, absolutely correct.
That's up to the association to
Correct.
enforce that bylaw.
Yeah.
We
Right.
can't,
Right.
we can't
Exactly.
interfere in anything they're doing.
Exactly.
Now, the other part to my answer to you is if they're gonna violate the bylaws, do you have a towing contract with, say, Sisters or Cops or whatever?
Yes, we do.
All right, then what you do is you slap a notice on their windshield, tell them they gotta correct the violation, if not, you're gonna be towed at your expense.
Right.
Be fair, give them 24 hours notice and put that in the note and wait, and if they still haven't done it by 24, you call cops. You got a contract with them, come on, I got a car for you, tow it out and let them pay for it at their owner's expense.
Right, right.
That's how you handle that situation.
Correct.
So it's selectively enforced by the associations. then?
Yes,
Okay, fine, I just need to know the answers to the
as long as
question.
it's in your bylaws.
Make sure it's in the bylaws.
Yeah.
But it's not happening in my association because we don't allow it to happen, I'm just noticing it in the village. As I'm walking,
Unfortunately, a lot of people
that's fine.
don't pay attention.
The other day, this was left on our
You
door,
can't see it.
that's okay, it's
Advertising.
it's about a health center. am I correct, or could I have some clarification? Can someone come in and solicit?
No.
No.
No,
So how did this come into our village? Is it someone that just has their job?
Someone lives there.
Where is it from? I've never seen one before.
It was left on every single one of our units and the
Yeah, I've
units
seen it,
across
yeah.
Sussex,
Yeah, I've
H
seen it, yeah.
and I.
Yeah,
It's a medical health center on Military Trail in West Palm Beach.
what's the name of it?
It is
Then,
Aceveno, Aceveno.
Okay, somebody must have,
Somebody put it in.
somebody must have.
okay, now, Ruth, what do you got over there?
I have them in my building as well. What we need is this person to be called in by somebody who knows them, goes around and lets them on the doors.
Yeah.
Well, you just call the office of the Vino and tell them, please do not come into Century Village and solicit any
If you happen to see somebody putting them on the door, call PBSO and have them escorted out.
Literally.
Not
David
the,
and-
not the emergency one.
Ruth answered the question.
Non-emergency.
And lastly, I'm seeking clarification. I followed the village report while I'm not here, and I noticed that there have been some people that have had businesses operating out of their condo.
No
Yeah,
more,
there you go.
no more.
And I understand it's illegal, but I walk 4 or 5 miles a day, so I see vehicles that have billboards like the handyman. So I look at his license plate, and his license plate is, in this state, it looks like it's just a personal license plate. Other states have commercial license plates, so can a car be here with commercial advertising on it, commercial plates on it? I'm just seeking clarification of what the rule is about commercial vehicles being inside the village.
Not overnight.
No,
Okay, so is a commercial plate, does it say commercial in this state?
No.
I mean, during the day and work.
Right.
Or overnight.
Okay, so like the handyman that's in the Northampton, he shouldn't be parked overnight, even though I'm sure he's that person.
unless he lives there.
Or the-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless he lives.
Then the bylaws, our bylaws say no trespass, whatever.
Well, this isn't a truck, this is a recreational.
Commercial,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's not allowed to.
Yeah.
Only for working and then.
He has to go home,
So,
yeah.
Yeah, that's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
listen, you have to start running that prostitution. thing.
John,
Second.
may I?
Come out, second, I'll write a note here.
Before I forget.
Yes, go ahead.
So I think what you have to understand, the difference between a COA and an HOA. Some of the things that, well, because we are a COA, we're not a master association that can tell everybody what to do. Whereas the difference, like what you're describing is an HOA has strict rules that have to be followed, and it's the same rules for every building in here. We have 309 associations, every one has its own way of running. Some of them are good, some of them are bad, some have nobody there. Okay, that's why we can't control some of the things that you're looking for us to control. It's not within our means because we're a COA. Hopefully that answers some of your questions.
I guess I just don't, I guess because of my law enforcement background, that I see that there are rules and the layers of who enforces what is very wavy and confusing.
But that's why I said,
Yeah.
there's 309 associations in 1 square mile.
Yeah.
And each one has its own rules and regulations to follow.
Yeah.
Do we agree? I don't think there's anybody in it that agrees with all 309 buildings. We all have things that we're not happy with. But we try to live within our means and try to live a good quality of life as best we can.
And I also understand when you live in an HOA that you give up certain inane rights that you have when you're in a large community. You have to live within community rules
Right.
as opposed to your own home rules, so to
Right.
say. So I understand
We're
that.
not HOA, but we're COA. We're a COA, we're not an HOA.
Then there's a lot of people that moved from rural areas where they didn't have any association, they done whatever they.
Right.
Whatever they pleased, they didn't have to ask permission for anything, And they come here and it's a whole new world for them. And they're not used to the
Or they don't
Our
want
rules.
rules.
They
You know, I
don't
got-
abide by them.
Yeah.
I got a daughter-in-law, is a school teacher, and she's one of them, rules are rules. And so here, rules are rules, that's what Elizabeth is talking about. So, but it's up to the association to make them abide by their bylaws. I've heard, David Israel say several times that when you abandon your bylaws, you lose everything.
Right.
So, the people have got to enforce them.
And if your board is not here from the association, if they're never here, then who you talk to then?
You got a new.
Well, the owners are the ones that vote in people that are running your association, so
You know what I'm talking
you
about.
guys got to change your officers if you're not happy with them.
I'm trying.
There's nothing we can do about it.
Yeah.
That's like
It's
that.
very hard.
There again, that's strictly up to the association.
Yeah.
The only way it could change possibly, if we could change our status from a COA to HOA.
Yeah.
But there again, then you've got,
Uh,
then you've got all the fiefdoms, associations that have to agree to it in order to change it. And there's a lot of them you're not gonna get to change.
The rental buildings.
So,
Oh, the rent, oh, yeah.
The rental buildings, don't rent.
so I had one suggestion from a lady, she's not here now, that, on the way out in the morning, going out Haverhill Gate with the sun, depending on where it's at, you can't see the white bar for going out. Cause a lot of times they're standing open and you can't see them, so I gotta get with, maintenance or with, Cam and have them do something to make that, put some stripes or something on, some reflective
I
tape or
hate to
something.
say this, but if they can't see that bar, and I certainly can't, that's why I don't drive, they should not be driving.
They should not be
I'm
driving.
saying it's in the morning when the sun's shining in their
sorry.
eyes.
Everybody drives through, they don't have that problem.
That's not right.
Okay,
Nobody
it's,
wanted us to give them
it's a suggestion that was made, and I'm relaying that, and I'll talk to the Cam to see what his opinion is, to see what they can do about it. Cause on coming in, you got red lights and green lights on, so people see it. Cause there'll be people come in and the reason those are on, because people knocked them off, they run into them.
Mhm.
Either that, he got mad and jerked them off, but it's to keep somebody from running over an arm.
Listen,
For, so
people
for,
should be driving, period, and.
Exactly.
well, there's a lot of people shouldn't be driving anyway,
Yeah, that's
whether it's got anything to do with it or not. But,
That's true.
That is true.
okay, that's all I've got to say. Anybody else got anything?
Yes, I do.
Okay,
I just wanna tip my hat off to Platinum.
Yeah.
Sunday, I don't remember what time it was, 1:00, 1:30, 2 weeks ago. And we came out of our building and found a sinkhole. I called David. Within 10 minutes, David went over there, got a cone and covered up and let me know that it was taken care of. And it's commendable that we have that kind of report between Daniel and David and Lawrence, that if we need them, they're there. And they do, no questions asked.
Right.
It wasn't, well, I don't know, I'm busy, I'm doing something, goes, I'm at Southampton, I'll be there as soon as I can. Not even 10 minutes later, it was taken care of, and I wanna say thank you.
How big's the sinkhole?
Yeah.
Big enough that a foot could fall in, cones covering up the hole.
It's like a car.
No, it's on the other side, they did some repair work there, and evidently the blacktop is sinking.
We get a lot of those. We caught one at Welcome H and we caught another one over at Cambridge that we had to inform the LCAM on. So while we're out there, we try to look for
Yeah.
little sinkholes and cracks.
Like I said, it was a Sunday, it was an afternoon, and it was done, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, I also have to say, maybe about 3 months ago, one of the workers, that was a construction worker, the ducks were around and he ran over it. He just kept on going. Unfortunately, I ran after him, but I couldn't get home, but I knew where it was. But, and I called security and they, they picked up the.
Did you say you went over a duck?
Yeah.
okay.
Well, I'll run over a duck before I start the car.
They did.
My almost.
And
Okay, George, do you have something there?
Yeah, based on what I said earlier, I'd like to make a motion that, Platinum, gives a written commendation to Lawrence for his actions, this morning. So as I say, he was very, very professional.
That's done, you don't.
Take care of that.
Are you trying to say he's a large guy?
Look out.
No, I'm serious, because I'll tell you what,
I know,
I would have grabbed the son of a gun by his neck and thrown him out.
I know, and you would have been in the ambulance. You would have been dialing 911 for ambulance service. He did the right thing.
Right, absolutely.
Thank you all again.
Thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
We smack you when you do something wrong, and we say thank you when you do something right.
Okay, next.
Don, stand in the corner.
Okay. We'll go around one more time, but anything, Mr. Castell.
Thank you for all the comments, I thank the crew, it's really nice, so, yes.
David.
I'll adjourn if you want to.
We got a motion to adjourn. Now here's second.
Second.
Yeah, I guess we're adjourned.
Wanna thank-
Second.
Thank you, Joanne.
Great meeting.